everybody, what's going on? It is Bill with Franklin Loan Center, and look, this week I came across an article, and it's talking about how the Biden administration is working on finding ways to reduce junk fees in mortgage lending, which sounds like a really good idea, right? I mean, let's figure out how to reduce the fees, get more people into houses. Here's the funny part. When is it ever good news? When the government is trying to lean in and fix something, right? But this is where it gets crazy. So when I look at, and by the way, they're saying that junk fees are up 36% since 2000. And it's crazy because I look at things and I look at just across all the fees that we charge. I mean, look, it's not cheap to get a mortgage. We say that all the time, right? I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of pieces, a lot of things involved in getting a mortgage together, right? One thing that's gone up really significantly is credit reports. And so that's a big deal. I mean, great, let the feds try to figure out how to get credit bureaus to charge less for that. That sounds fantastic, right? Don't know how they're gonna do it, but that sounds great. But here's my favorite part about this. You know what else has gone up significantly in the last 3 years is discount points that are charged to reduce an interest rate, right? And where is this coming from? Without getting super geeky, the way it works is discount points. We've probably all heard of paying points to buy down a rate, right? Well, because of where interest rates have been, they rose up so quickly, and because of that, and now there's, because theoretically these rates are going to come back down at some point in the not too distant future, and that really raises what's called payoff risk or refinance risk to these investors, right? So when people invest in mortgages, they're expecting a long-term return on their money, right? They're taking a small interest rate for the long term. That's how they want to do it. If it pays off quickly, they lose money on the investment, right? So what do they do on that? They say, look, I mean, the only rates we're gonna offer are gonna have points, discount points attached to it. So that's one thing that a ton of people that have bought a house in the past, 2-3 years have really seen, really the past 2 years have seen is a big increase. There's almost a lot of times, even on conventional loans, there's times where you can't even get what we call a par rate. Like all rates have some amount of discount points. Guess what? That's a fee. Is it a junk fee? I don't think so, right? You're paying it to buy down your rate. But here's my favorite part about it, right? So the feds are saying, hey, we got to do something about all these fees that are involved with getting a house and a mortgage or refinancing, whatever it is. But guess who charges the discount points? Fannie and Freddie, which are none other than the government, right? They're owned by the government. So the government is complaining about the government's fees that are included in mortgages, right? And again, it's not all of the increase related to these, but it's a significant chunk of that number. They're saying is 36%. Credit reports are they're up really significant. I mean, they've like tripled in price, but it's still such a relatively small amount of the whole closing cost picture. It's not that big of a deal, right? And that's literally about the only thing that's gone up dramatically. The other part of this is insurance, but I don't think they're including that in the junk fees, or at least not the articles that I've been reading. But it'd be nice if we could see the feds do something about that too. I'm sure everybody would like that, including the insurance companies. So again, this is just one of those things. Of course, I say it tongue in cheek, have no worries. The feds are on their way to take care of the problem, and it's just hilarious because the biggest chunk of the problem is discount points, which is a fee that's a government fee, right? It's ridiculous. It's a bit of a stretch to call it a government fee, but they're mortgage-backed. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are both government entities, and they call the shots. Investors ultimately set the rates and all that stuff, so you can't blame the feds for where we are on this stuff, but it's like they're kind of coming after something they don't have any control over, and it's Fannie and Freddie that are doing it, right? So anyways, to me, this is just another of the goofy things that we're seeing out there right now with people, all this talk, we got to get inflation down and do all this stuff. Well, that's not going to work, right? I mean, so it'll be really interesting to see what they actually come out with on this. I'm sure it's going to be terrifying, but we'll see what will happen. And it seems like almost always what ends up happening in these cases, the consumer actually gets hit harder, which is just horrific. But It's just, you know, again, the feds need to stay in their lane. So that's all I got this week. I'm Bill. I'm with Franklin Loan Center, and I'll see y'all next week.